to our witnesses for joining us today. Every day, cartels post on social media platforms and recruit teenagers in Arizona to act as drivers for illegal operations. Lured by the promise of easy cash, these teens, some as young as 14 years old, take their parents' cars to the border and participate in smuggling and trafficking. Innocent bystanders and migrants have even died while these teens, recruited by cartels on social media, flee law enforcement at high speeds. The Department of Homeland Security must do more to crack down on dangerous cartels' use of social media, secure the border, and keep Arizona families safe. My first question is for Ms. Pappas. I apologize. According to my office's conversations with Border Patrol leadership in Arizona, TikTok is the platform that cartels use most frequently to recruit Arizona teens. What steps does TikTok currently take to ensure its algorithms do not promote cartel-sponsored content? And can you tell me why have those efforts not been more effective?
Certainly, Senator. So it starts for us with our policies. Obviously, that type of content, any illicit activity, organized crime, including drug cartels, is strictly prohibited from our platform. So in that regard, we work with our trust and safety moderation teams to ensure that we're detecting that content through our technologies and also through human moderation to remove that content when found. Furthermore, as a platform, we don't have the same product features that other platforms do in terms of being able to have that type of organized behavior. So for example, we don't allow links through direct messages or images to be sent through direct messages. We also do not have group chat available. So those types of behavior to help organized crime are limited in terms of TikTok's platform. So any of the content that gets posted on TikTok has to go through our content moderation. Obviously, our work is never done there, but we're constantly working to identify that content at scale and remove it when found. And all of those numbers are also available through our transparency reports. Thank you.
So just a follow-up question then. If you're doing that content moderation and reviewing each of those, the posts, how is it that there are so many efforts that are successful on TikTok to recruit young teens to assist cartels?
We're striving to get that number to zero. Obviously, this is a challenging area for everybody in the industry in terms of being able to moderate our platforms, but this is something that we heavily invest in from a technology perspective as well as a people perspective. I'm happy to look into any of those cases, but I do know that when reports have been sent, that content is immediately taken down.
Thank you. Mr. Cox, my next question is for you. What is Meta doing both on Facebook and on Instagram to prevent cartels from using your platforms to recruit teens along our southwestern border?
Thank you, Senator. This is an important issue. It's sad. I really appreciate your leadership on this issue. We prohibit human trafficking. We prohibit these cartels. We work with law enforcement to identify the names of the cartels, and then we fan out systems to help us find instances of them across our platforms and take them down right away.
So my next question is for Ms. Pappas, Mr. Cox, Mr. Mohan, and Mr. Sullivan, the whole panel. As chair of the Border Subcommittee in this committee, I believe it's critical that each of your platforms work with the Department of Homeland Security to identify cartel content and prevent Arizona teens from being targeted for recruitment. So I'd ask you to answer yes or no. When you discover that cartels are using your platforms to recruit, are you willing to commit to sharing that information with the Department of Homeland Security as quickly as possible? Mr. Sullivan.
Yes, with the appropriate privacy and oversight, I believe we could do that.
Yes, similarly, following a legal process and privacy policy.
Yes, Senator, we would cooperate as long as there's a due legal process with the DHS and other law enforcement as well.
Similarly, we would commit to that provided privacy and legal concerns were addressed.
Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Pappas. Today's hearing is about product development, and in the case of TikTok, there's no product more important than the, quote, For You algorithm that offers content recommendation to users. There's a real risk that TikTok could alter its algorithm to promote or censor content on Beijing's behalf, whether that means silencing voices that are critical of China or promoting conspiracies or extremist content. Has TikTok ever altered its algorithm or promoted or downranked content based on the actual or perceived wishes of the Chinese government?
No.
And in your privacy policy, it says that TikTok, quote, may collect biometric identifiers such as face prints and voice prints. Has the biometric data of an American ever been accessed by or provided to any person located in China? And if not, is biometric data able to be accessed by anyone in China?
Let me clarify, because I think biometrics is one that is a topic that is hard to define, and everybody has their own definition of what biometrics means. So I will be clear in how TikTok sees this. We do not use any sort of facial, voice, or audio, or body recognition that would identify an individual. So there's no way that we would be able to identify. The way that we use facial recognition, for example, would be if we're putting an effect on the creator's video. So you were uploading a video and you wanted to put sunglasses or dog ears on your video. That's when we do facial recognition. All of that information is stored only in your device, and as soon as it's applied to, like that filter is supplied and posted, that data is deleted. So we don't have that data.
And you're assured that there's no opportunity that during the time between the use of the imprint of the face print or voice print and the deletion, that there's no ability for anyone other than that device to access or capture that information?
That's my understanding, yes. I know it's a technical area, so to the best of my knowledge, the data is stored on the device. It is deleted immediately once you post your video.
I'd like follow-up, just to, neither of us are experts on this technological issue, but I'd like to get some follow-up from those who are.
Happy to, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I see that my time has expired. I have a few more questions that I'll submit for the record. Thank you.
After some of these things are released. Mr. Cox, and you also have talked quite a bit about trust and safety as being central to Meta's development process. Then my question to you is, then why, after several years of warnings by external organizations such as the Tech Transparency Project, does Facebook continue to automatically generate home pages for white supremacists and other extremist groups and terrorists such as ISIS, as shown in this poster right here for the Aryan Brotherhood, that it's a page that's been created. I guess it was taken down just recently, but it was on Facebook for 12 years. For 12 years, the Aryan Brotherhood. Doesn't this feature allow extremist groups to basically recruit members more easily because you're putting this up?
Senator, we believe there's no place for terrorism or
that.
violence inciting networks, for militarized social movements. We believe there's no place for these on our platform. We use automated tools to find and take them down, as well as teams of experts dedicated to these specific problems.
And so your automated tools and teams, they were successful after 12 years. They were able to bring it down after 12 years. That's an acceptable performance?
Senator, I know that for 97% of terrorist content, we're able to get to it before anybody reports it, and also that we've been able to improve that number quarter over quarter, which is a commitment I will continue to make sure that we aspire to.
But certainly, any content that gets through and is disseminated very broadly can have catastrophic consequences and violent actions, and particularly groups like this where they have pages that are being put up by your company that are there for 12 years. I hope you would agree that that's unacceptable.
Senator, respectfully, we wouldn't have put this page up ourselves, but we do work hard to make sure that extremists and terrorist networks are not allowed.
Yeah, this is auto-generated. This was an auto-generated page.
Senator, I haven't seen the specific example, but
Well, I'd love to have you comment on this. If you could look at this example, and if we could have your written comments on it, I'd appreciate that afterwards. My final question, then we're going to let you go, seriously. When your product teams are testing new products or features, I know that you track engagement and growth, a pretty fundamental part of the work that you do. My question to you, and this is to each of you, do you consistently measure the impacts of these new features on societal harms like misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and terrorism? If you could just give me a yes or no question. We'll start with you, Mr. Sullivan, work that way on the yes or no, please.
Yeah, depending on the feature and which of those harms might apply, we go deep into those and analyze those, yes.
So I would like you to, so it's yes, if you go a little deeper, I'm going to ask you, then how do you characterize and measure this data? And which metrics are used? If you could be very specific, it's very helpful that we have that information.
I'll give you one.
And I'll ask all three of you
That's
to
great.
do the same, please.
Oh, no, oh, I'm sorry, I turned my mic off. I'll give you one top-line metric we use for many of these, which is what we call harmful impressions. So 0.1% of tweets that turn out to be violative. We want to limit the number of people that see them. So it's how many people may have seen something before we identified it as violent. So those are some of the metrics that would be important to combat this harm on the platform. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Ms. Pappas?